Hello friends, welcome back. Guys, in this video I will talk about the changes that have been introduced in interfaces as part of Java 8 and 9 release. Okay, so guys, basically we'll talk about the default methods, static, private and private static methods in interfaces in Java. Before Java 8, interfaces could have only public abstract methods, right? And as part of Java 8, interfaces are allowed to have default and static methods. And in Java 9, interfaces can have private methods as well, right? So basically private and private static methods. So we'll talk about each one in this video. All right. So that being said, let's begin the video. Okay, alright guys, we'll directly jump to the demo section. Let me start the ID. Okay, here we are. I already have a project called Try It Out. I'm going to create a new class. Let's call it interface demo. I want to have a man. Click on finish. Okay, so here I'm going to introduce a new interface. Let's call it interface, say dummy interface. Okay, dummy interface. Now guys, before Java 8, now guys, before Java 8, right, interfaces were allowed to have only public abstract functions. Okay, so basically I can have like public abstract, let's call it hello. Okay, by default the interfaces are public and abstract, so it is optional to have public and abstract. Basically we have to provide the implementation of this function. This is how it was before Java 8 version. Okay, now guys, as part of Java 8, interfaces can have default and static functions as well. Okay, so when I say default, right, default is basically where you have to provide the default implementation. For example, I've got a function here welcome and I'm going to provide the implementations here, right? So this is what it says. Okay guys, I see there's an error. What it says, so for that I'm going to use a keyword called default, right? So wherever you see a default keyword, it means we are talking about a default function, and the purpose of default is to provide default implementation. Okay, now similarly we can also have static methods interfaces, right? So when I say static, obviously we're gonna have a static keyword, then void, and say let's call it subscribe, and I'm going to provide the implementation functions. Okay, let me just go and call these two first. So what I will do is my class called interface demo. I'm going to implements and dummy interface, my interface name, right? It says that I have to provide the implementation of abstract function. It's called hello. Okay, let's click on that, and here I'll just write hey, how are you doing? That's all. Where is implementation? Now I'm going to create the object of my class interface demo. Let's call it object equals to new interface demo. Now I can use this object to call the functions. Okay, and how about default? So for that, object dot welcome, and then exactly same way I can call the static as well. But can I try with the object dot subscribe? I'm not able to call the static function, right? Then how can I call the static function which is there in the interface? So for that I have to use the interface name, because static belongs to the interface. Static, like my interface name dot, I'm going to call the function called subscribe. Okay, I can run this as Java application, and here you can see hey, how are you doing? So this is the implementation of hello function. Then we have got hello, welcome to my channel, which is the default function, okay, from the interface. And the last sysout is from the static method. Okay, now guys, let's talk about the Java 9 changes. Java 9 changes. So as part of Java 9, interfaces are allowed to have private methods as well, right? Now guys, first of all, what is the purpose of having private methods in interfaces? Basically, in case if you have a lengthy default function, right, then you can split the code. You can have a private function to split the lengthy code of the default function. Okay, let me show you how it works. So I'm going to have private here, private, keep it void. Let's call it share, and implementation, I'll simply write this out here, channel. Okay, so now I can call this private function inside the default one. Okay, so basically this is how we can split the code. We can provide some part of the implementation in the private methods, and then we can call those privates into the default, right? Let me just go and run this code. Where is the default implementation? It is in welcome. So I'll just comment out the other two, hello and static. I just want to execute only one default implementation, and here I can see hello, welcome to my channel. Okay, now guys, I can also have private and static in interface, right? So for example, let me give you an example. Private static void hit bell icon. Okay, so I'll just provide the implementation this out. Hit the bell icon to get the notifications. Okay, so this is a static function. I'll just take this one and go back to the default and call here. Right, so basically what exactly I'm doing here is I'm using private and static, right, these functions to build the logic for the default function. Okay, let me go and run Java program, and then here I can see hit the bell icon to get the notification. Basically guys, the point is interfaces can always have abstract functions, right? And then we can also have a default function. The reason or the purpose of having a default is to provide a default implementation. Then we can also have a static function. Now guys, static belongs to the interface, right? For example, this is my class here, right? If I can have a static function, let me go and introduce one static function here. Static void logout. Okay, let me call it bye. Right, so this is a static function in my class interface demo. How can I call this particular class? So basically, because this is a static function, right, I can simply go and make use of my class name dot and call bye. Right, exact same fashion, if we have any static function in the interface, we can call the static function by using the interface name. Okay, like this. Let me just run as Java application. This bye is from the static, from the class. Okay, then we can have private can help you in split the implementation of default function. Okay, and in the exact same fashion we can have private and static as well in the interfaces. All right, yeah, that's all for now. Thank you for watching.